Welcome to the More Perfect Union, a podcast about the joy we get from discussing American politics, or as we like to call it, real debate without the hate. Hello, everybody. My name is Kevin Kelton. I'm a sensible Democrat living in Los Angeles, California.
Hi, I'm Greg Matuzak, a liberal Democrat, which I think
as opposed to sensible.
As opposed to sensible, living in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Hello, I'm Molly Malloy Cooper. I'm a conservative capitalist enthusiast in Columbus, Ohio.
I'm Rebecca Kushmiter. I'm a nonsensical liberal Democrat in Kensington, Maryland.
And I'm DJ McGuire, a conservative Democrat, or as I've been told, the conservative Democrat, from Suffolk, Virginia.
That's right. Hello, everybody. So the More Perfect Union, as hopefully our audience knows by now, is one of the fastest growing political podcasts on iTunes. The More Perfect Union can also be found on YouTube, Facebook, and at our website, moreperfectunionpodcast.com, where you can also find host bios and commentary. DJ just wrote an excellent piece there about our China policy. But we're going to start this week with the fun stuff, specifically former FBI Director James Comey, who was released from duty this week by one Donald J. Trump. So what do you guys think about this? Well, I mean, what does it mean for the Trump presidency? Look, we all know that he did it because he's feeling the heat of the Russian
No, we
investigation.
don't know that.
Oh, great. Molly, set us straight, please.
First of all, Comey's approval rating as of a month ago was 14%, 12% among Democrats. So Comey has literally no homies. So we'll start with that.
Yes, because in history, we have often judged FBI directors by their public approval rating.
I didn't know they had public approval ratings, to tell the truth.
Well, that's just it. He made a spectacle of himself. We're not even really supposed to know who they are. And so he lost all credibility. So now Trump is in this position where if he gets cleared by Comey, everyone's like, oh, of course he's a partisan hack. He's the one who threw the election for Hillary, so we don't believe what he says. So what is the benefit to having Comey continue on with the investigation? And to be honest, even if he came up with something, unless it was like absolutely clear, you were going to get the same thing from Republicans. So again, nobody likes this guy. So it was time for him to go.
Wait. Nobody likes him, so it was time for him to go?
No, I'm sorry. Not nobody likes him. In fact, I actually think it's a good thing that nobody likes him. Nobody trusts him.
All right. But as far as that goes, when has Trump ever cared about the optics of any situation? I mean, no one is comfortable with his son-in-law or his daughter occupying these private, these high-class security things. And he goes, I don't care. I don't care how it looks. I don't care how
Trump
any
didn't
of
like
these
him
things.
either. So
right.
Yeah.
But that's just the point. He's never cared about the optics. He's never cared about appearances because he's that outsider. He's going to take care of it. He's going to just do what he does best, be Trump, whatever that is. But so when he gets cleared, I'll just say that tongue in cheek, by anybody, he's just going to say, I was cleared, there, done. So if he got cleared by Comey, he would have said, I am the greatest, done. So you're saying this like, if he got cleared by Comey,
would never end. No, if he got cleared by Comey, then it would be just another congressional investigation after that.
By whom? By the GOP
by congressional Democrats.
They can't do anything. Yeah.
But let me ask this. Molly, why do you think that Congress created a 10-year term for the director of the FBI? We know that they didn't pull that number out of a hat. It wasn't 8 years to coincide. It wasn't 4 years to coincide. It wasn't a lifetime appointment. It was a 10-year appointment. Why do you think they did it that way?
Well, I mean, right, to go across multiple administrations, such as the ways they do with the Federal Reserve. But at the same time, it is always a position that you serve at the pleasure of the president. And so, he can, terminate his employment at any time.
Without a doubt.
He can legally, but it's supposed to be done for cause. And there really was no cause. They trumped
cause.
Up.
Come on.
There was no cause. Are you now going to seriously argue that there was real cause, not a manufactured cause, a legal cause that he had to go to lawyers to kind of conjure up. But are you arguing now that there was real cause to fire James Comey in May of 2017?
His testimony was just bizarre last week, and his testimony was bizarre in November, and his testimony was bizarre last July.
And you fire an FBI director based on his testimony in front of Congress?
When it's that bizarre,
well, yeah,
yes.
I think you could, but the question is, Trump himself has said he had him fired because of the Russian investigation. He says this on the record. He had his mind set up because the Russian investigation is a distraction.
Of course he did.
And he threw his DOJ under the bus when they came up with this whole backstory. And then
listen, can I ask
2 days ago?
Something?
Yeah, go ahead.
DJ, we're all floundering here. Would you please set us straight?
Oh, dear.
Oh, yes, DJ the rudder.
DJ actually is hiding under his desk as we record this. He so doesn't want to get involved.
No,
Yeah. DJ all of a sudden is Switzerland.
Yeah, right. How the hell did I end up here? It is ironic that I was one of the few people who actually defended Comey's testimony clarification in late October that supposedly sank the Clinton campaign. He said something in congressional testimony. Facts changed, and he presented that change in facts, and all hell broke loose, supposedly. Look, people can complain about how Comey was in front of a microphone on a certain day. That does not make this firing okay. People can complain about Democratic hypocrisy, our hypocrisy, because this is my new party now, about Comey. That doesn't make this okay. We know, because Donald Trump has all but telegraphed it, and he has said in some cases, that the embarrassment that came to him from the Russia probe was more important to him than learning the damage that Russia did to our political culture with their desinformatia campaign, which included propaganda manufactured right out of John Podesta's inbox. The fact that Trump thinks embarrassing him, protecting his own ego is more important than protecting the country's political culture is a very serious problem. And that should be more important than any discussion about how we think Comey did his job or didn't do his job, or how we think Democrats should or shouldn't react, or how we think Republicans should or shouldn't react. That is a very serious policy problem. That is Donald Trump making a mistake that makes our country weaker. That is the most important part of all of this, and everything else is just noise.
I don't know. I mean, the FBI is bigger than any one man, and this will go on. And, so everybody universally agrees that Jim Comey would not have been there past January 21st of a Hillary Clinton administration. So don't get don't give me these 10-year terms. There is just no way.
I agree with Molly.
You think that Hillary would have fired him?
No, I think Hillary would have drawn and quartered him after she dipped him in honey and roasted him in peas. I do. Or heck, I'll throw this out there. There would have been some accident. I don't know, because she's cool like that. And I'm totes cool with that, because at least she would have said, hey, I'm doing it for cause A, and it was for reason A. It's none of this, well, I think it was, the Department of Justice says it was for Hillary, but now I'm saying it's for the Russian, and now we're playing a shell game. No, Hillary he would have been standing on the corner and a bus would have hit him.
This is silly. We're sitting here saying what Hillary Clinton would have done had she been elected president. That is nonsense.
Oh, of course it is.
Donald Trump was elected president, although I think he cheated. He was elected president. He was the person who did this, and he is ultimately responsible for it. To say, well, Hillary would have done the same thing is so
no, we're not saying that, though. We're not.
Hypothetical. Yeah, no, Molly is.
No, Molly's saying, hold on.
Molly just said it, so don't say we wouldn't say that.
Yes,
Molly
just said it, and I'm sure a lot of Republicans think it. It doesn't make this okay.
Right. Now, talking about people who had a bad week, also Donald Trump's spokespeople trying to match the story that they were told to tell with the story that he then went out and changed in public, and somehow they're in hot water. So is Sean Spicer going up, going down? Is he?
He's going to the bushes.
That's right.
He's going to just hide in the shrubbery. Wait until this is all over. Just
I've always
hang
thought
out.
I've always thought he was Bush League, but now when he's hiding, when the entire Trump administration is literally hiding from the press and doing everything they can not to say a word, and they are so afraid that they will run, and now they have Mike Huckabee's daughter, who's doing, I have to say, a better job than Spicer, but
she does do a better job.
She does,
yes.
But anyone does a better job than Spicer. I mean,
I don't get that they're hiding. I mean, Friday afternoon, I flip on the TV. There's a press conference at 1:30 in the afternoon. I mean, how is that, hiding? I mean,
no, there were several
one evening
reports.
where there was a period of time where Spicer and some of his staff were huddled in the bushes trying to get out of the Klieg lights of the press in the driveway. They were actually hiding. And was it the New York Times that reported Spicer emerged from the bushes?
Yeah,
I mean, that actually happened. It's not even a joke.
and I laugh, but it's sad because this is where we get our information from. This is our voice to the leader of our country. I mean, and that's sad.
I mean, I think what we're seeing is a battle between Sean Spicer and his integrity. I think there is still some thread of dignity and honor in Sean Spicer, and it keeps trying to pull him away from that podium. And if the bushes are the place to hide, he's going to hide there for a while.
Is there any chance he just needed a cigarette? I mean,
It's possible.
I think Obama used to hide in the bushes and smoke cigarettes.
So
it's
kind of
possible.
what I was thinking.
Obama used to live in my neighborhood before he was president, when he was a senator and he was still commuting back to Chicago. He lived in my neighborhood, not far from my friend's apartment, and my friend would actually see him out on his balcony smoking. But that was when Michelle didn't live in Washington, so nobody was over Obama's shoulder telling him not to smoke.
Hey, so did you guys see this thing that was going on in Charlottesville this week with the Robert E. Lee statue that apparently either came down or some people wanted to take down?
Yeah, speaking of smoking, the torches.
Yeah.
The torches, the torch wielding, tiki torch wielding mob.
I cannot take them seriously without the pitchforks, though.
As a Virginian, this kind of hits close to home for a bunch of reasons. Charlottesville is looking to essentially get rid of its statue of Robert E. Lee, who, of course, is one of the commanding generals of the rebel forces during the Civil War. I call myself a Southern Unionist. I do not like General Lee. I am glad to see Charlottesville try to get rid of it. But there's actually a state law that doesn't let them. So their attempt to get rid of the statue was held up in court.
But who were these people that came out to protest? What was their story?
They were Nazis.
Essentially.
It was Illinois Nazis.
I hate Illinois Nazis.
Richard Spencer led the group. They all came up with their little tiki torches to go out there and to defend.
Again, not a joke. Garden accessories are the theme for the week. Spicer in the bushes, Spencer with the tiki torches. This is all real. Real news, not fake.
It is. This really did happen. And they went out there and they said, you can't remove us. Russia is our friend. And something about blood and soil, which I'm assuming is some sort of racialist.
So
theme.
Russia is our friend. So they forgot that they're alt-right, not alt-left.
Right, and not only that.
Oh no, I disagree. Hang on. I'm going to actually challenge you on this, Molly. In that I think a lot of this is the fact that a lot of folks on the right, I'm not including Molly in this, and I'm not just the alt-right, I've started to see this infect a lot of folks in the conservative movement, are looking at Vladimir Putin, who does very much to remind everyone that he is not a communist. He's more of the white nationalist tyrant, a czarist, if you will. And they are warming under the wings of that dragon more than they should. They look at Vladimir Putin as some sort of 21st century Christian crusader, even though he is backing some of the most vicious tyrants in the Middle East, including Bashar Assad. They see him as there are more than quite a few in the alt-right who say, oh, well, Russia's full of white people, so we have to like them. And every time there is a argument about Russia's disinformation campaign, they look at it like, oh, well, so what? Russia is our friend and Putin is our friend. The fact of the matter is these people are seeing Vladimir Putin as the leader of the unfree world, and they like what they see in him. Period.
Now, let me go back to the statue, because I have to admit, I saw the headlines, but I didn't follow this story. Where was it being removed from, and why was it being removed? And let me just preface that question with, I'm one of those people that thinks that the Confederate flag should be removed pretty much from wherever it is, but I do not think that statues of Robert E. Lee necessarily need to come down. But I don't know the particulars in this.
All right, let me interrupt that. First of all, the concept of Confederate statues, I'm not the first person to say this, is like participation awards. How do you guys lost? You guys lose and you get a statue? You've got to be kidding. So second of all, go on.
There's a lot behind it. The city of Charlottesville, which is far more liberal than the rest of Virginia, even today in its swing-ish, leaning Democratic type state, the city of Charlottesville wanted the statue removed from one of its it's on public property. It's on town property.
Yeah,
so it's a park.
Like a
I
square.
think it is a park, some sort of park.
Does Lee have a tie to Charlottesville? I mean, was he born there? Or
no tie to Charlottesville, as far as I know. So it was put there the statue was put there in the early 20th century. It's part of the whole lost cause myth of the South, which frankly really only got a lot of play because the North in the late 19th century decided to go back to its old racist days and declare that the Civil War really wasn't an argument about racial equality or ending slavery. It was just a whole big fight over the Union. The South and the North, for much of the late 19th and early 20th centuries, essentially lied to themselves and each other about what the Civil War was really about and about what Reconstruction was about. We're only now, in the last 50 years, beginning to get back to the truth on that. And during that hagiographic myth nonsense, you saw a bunch of Confederate statues pop up all over the South. And now you are getting more honest folks looking, going, okay, do we really want to honor folks who defended the slaveholders' rebellion? Is that really what we want to do? And that has what led to the city of Charlottesville saying, we really don't want to do this, and running afoul of a law that comes out of the 1950s during the hagiographic myth nonsense, where the lost cause reigned supreme, and they said even if a city wants to get rid of a Confederate statue, they're not allowed to.
Any movement towards repealing that law in the legislature?
I am almost certain we actually have statewide elections this year. We have in Virginia, we have elections for governor, lieutenant governor, attorney general, and the House of Delegates. And this has actually become an issue in the Republican campaign for governor, arguing about whether and how best to keep the statue. As far as I understand, neither Democrat wants to keep the statue. It will almost certainly be an issue in the general election campaign. We have our primaries next month, so we don't know who our nominees yet. We don't know who our nominees are yet.
I want to ask, because I always come back to, I care what you guys think. We could watch television and get, the legal mumbo jumbo. Not that that was mumbo jumbo. That was actually a very articulate explanation of it.
It was very articulate mumbo jumbo.
It was articulate mumbo jumbo. Yes,
very
absolutely.
Well done. Well done.
Thank you. Hey, it's the best mumbo jumbo I've done all week.
You've articulated the conservative Democrat opinion for all of the conservative Democrats out there.
Yes.
Well, we've now got the title for this episode, but I really want to know what you guys think, because like I said, I actually think I like the fact that there are statues of Robert E. Lee. I dislike the Confederate flag, but I have no problem with the statue of Robert E. Lee on public property. I'm wondering what everybody else thinks.
I have a problem with it.
I
have
think
huge
that the
problems.
addition of a plaque to any statue of a Confederate general with some sort of explanation of the racial wrongs of the Confederacy would, I don't know, somehow moderate the effect of the Confederate statue. Like this, here is Robert E. Lee. He was a known general of the Confederate Army. The Confederacy stood for X. They lost because of Y. And just putting that out there, just more information. I've never been comfortable with the erasure of history. On the other hand, somebody commented that there are no statues of Hitler in Germany. So there's that.
Yeah, but I don't think Robert E. Lee was Hitler.
No, this is not an erasure of history. This is placing history. This is placing history where it belongs, and the history of a rebellion that was specifically dedicated to white supremacy, as Alexander Stephens, the Confederate vice president, acknowledged and boasted about in 1863, I believe was that speech. That is not history that belongs in hagiography. These monuments are not history; they are hagiography, and they should go. Yes. We should talk about the Confederacy. Yes, we should talk about its stain on American history. But we should not honor it in this way because it was not an honorable thing. I'm sorry. Yes, there are plenty of people who gave their lives as nobly as they thought they could for causes that we now know to be ignoble and for causes that at the time were considered ignoble. And this is perhaps something that I get upset about because while I was not born here, I've lived in Virginia now for 25 years. There were plenty of Virginians who refused to take up arms against the Union. There are plenty of Virginians who fought for the Union. The state of West Virginia exists today because tens of thousands of Virginians refused to fight for the Confederacy, wanted to fight for the Union, and decided the only way they could do it was to pull out of Virginia and create their own state. One of the greatest generals of the Civil War, the Rock of Chickamauga, General George Thomas, was a Virginian born in Southampton County, less than 50 miles from where I am sitting here today. There were plenty of Virginians who refused to be disloyal to their government. There isn't a statue of them anywhere in this state.
Okay, so let me follow that logic because, frankly, you're making a compelling argument, DJ. But let me take it down the slope, the so-called slippery slope.
Oh God!
Does that mean we do away with statues of Stonewall Jackson? Does that mean,
yes.
for instance,
yes. Yeah, I'll get rid of Stonewall Jackson.
I'll get rid of him in a heartbeat.
That's fine.
Okay, hold on. Let me keep going.
Keep going.
About a mile from my house, there's a Robert E. Lee Avenue. Do we take that down? Do we rename that?
I would gladly rename Robert E. Lee Avenue. Yes.
Okay. So would I.
What about Andrew Jackson killed a lot of Indians. Custer killed a lot of Indians.
Look,
do we
already
wipe them off the face of American history?
No, whoa, hang on.
Jackson,
no.
We can't. He was a U.S. president.
Right. We're not talking. And again, this is the mistake we make. Taking someone's name off a street does not erase them from history. It erases them from hagiography. If you put the name of somebody on a street, somebody looks and go, oh, that must have been a really good person. I wonder what things he accomplished in his life. Okay. Robert E. Lee doesn't deserve a street. Andrew Jackson sure as hell doesn't deserve a street. He doesn't deserve to be on the $20 bill either. Okay. Acknowledging people in history is not the same thing as honoring them is not the same thing as giving them honors that they don't deserve. And putting Robert E. Lee's name on the street is giving him an honor he doesn't deserve. Putting Andrew Jackson on the $20 bill is giving him an honor he doesn't deserve. You want to honor somebody from this period? You want to honor a Confederate general? Let me give you one. William Mahone, Robert E. Lee's last major general, one of the folks who stayed with him throughout the entire Civil War, but afterwards he helped to build a political coalition to advance racial equality in Virginia, and during the brief time that coalition was in power, they got rid of the poll tax, they equalized school funding among the races, and they made Virginia one of the most racially progressive states of the 19th century for the brief time they were in power. You want to honor a 19th century figure? Honor William Mahone. Don't honor Robert E. Lee or Andrew Jackson.
I agree. I agree completely. And that doesn't happen very often with DJ.
Moving on, there's a new doctor in the House.
In the White House.
In the White House. Did anybody catch the Liberty University speech that President Trump gave and what he got in return?
I did my best to avoid it.
Yeah.
I saw parts of it. I saw parts of it. But going back.
So
yeah, go on.
They made him what? Just to clarify for our listeners, they made him an honorary doctor of law.
True.
Which at a normal
True
university
story.
would be a Juris Doctor.
Yes.
Juris Doctorate. It's a JD. It's not something that Liberty made up. They just can't use the real words for it.
So he's now the greatest, most fabulous lawyer.
Right. So I'm really scared. I'm really scared that he will say things like, all right, I think I can handle this. That's my horrible Trump impression. But he'll say, I think I can handle this. Give me that document. I am a doctor of law.
Well,
and thus World War III.
I saw the president of Liberty University interviewed afterwards, saying how honored they were that Trump chose Liberty and not, traditionally Notre Dame. And as a Notre Dame alum, I was irritated by the fake news since he was not invited to go to Notre Dame. So.
Did anyone?
I'm fascinated by all of this. I went to college down the street from Liberty University, and I graduated in '95, so it's quite a while ago now. And at the time, first of all, LU wasn't accredited, and I don't know that they had a law school, but it was. The people I knew from LU were some of the nicest people I've ever met. They were like Canadian nice or Mormon nice. That's how nice they were. And Falwell Sr., for all his flaws, was a kind man. He had some good intentions. And in the years since his death, from what I've heard, LU has become, they've started buying a lot of real estate in the area. They've basically tried to take over the town and make it like almost like a theocratic little stronghold within this portion of Virginia. And Jerry Falwell Jr. does not strike me as a nice person. Some of the comments he's made, particularly about people of other faiths, have been very troubling. And I don't know that Falwell Sr. would have wanted to admit Trump onto a campus where a lot of their principles had to do with virtue and strength of character and a lot of things that Trump doesn't embody. So this seems, I'm disappointed in a way that, that a school that was a good neighbor to my school for so long has changed in some fundamental way.
Yeah, but he is the president of the United States, and
but he's also a schmuck, and that's not.
It is a get for any university. So let me ask this:
Liberty would not have invited Barack Obama to speak on their campus because Jerry Falwell Jr. would have said that he was some sort of Muslim Kenyan infidel and wouldn't have permitted him on the grounds. But he's willing to overlook the pussy grabbing and say that we don't worship government, we worship God, and then Trump's wig or something else.
I wonder what locker room talk would be like at Liberty University. Greg, you have any thoughts?
There is a great book about this called The Accidental Disciple, where a kid from Brown went undercover at Liberty for a year. It's really, really good. Totally worth reading.
Oh, I was just going to say, I don't know if anybody knows the answer to this, but it's tradition that the president gives a talk at a private college, a state school, a public college, and a military academy every year. And I assume Trump probably is going to a military academy. I don't know for sure. They're usually a little bit later. But does anyone know of any state school that picked him up? I'm curious about that.
I don't know.
No, I can't imagine.
Yeah,
but there will be one.
The same week.
And as to follow up on Rebecca was saying, could you imagine what Jim and Tammy Baker would be like if they had survived to this moment?
They'd be kissing his ass.
They'd be.
Jim would be asking him for dating tips.
Did you guys see Betsy DeVos commencement speech
at Bethune-Cookman?
Oh, she got yes. They turned their backs on her.
Yeah, the whole class. I can't say the whole class, but the majority of the class turned their back on her, and the president of the university freaked out and said, I will turn this car around right now. And
you will not leave this university. I will not let you graduate if you don't turn around and give her a standing ovation. He said,
I will mail all the this ceremony will stop right now, and you will all get your diplomas mailed to you. And I didn't see the end of it because it only showed but that's pretty much what happened. They stopped it right there, and they were like, it's on. We're cool with that.
So let me ask this. To wrap this up. I've already spoken on this podcast about, my college graduation, and that it was the actor Harold Gould who ended up giving my commencement address. I'm wondering, can anybody top that? Who had an interesting commencement speaker?
I had a lady speak, and she had a Southern accent, and she talked a lot.
Okay.
I might have been drinking a lot right before my graduation.
That left a lasting impression.
Yeah. I mean, I actually remember liking the speech a lot. I just don't remember her name or pretty much anything she talked about.
Molly, what about you? Where did you graduate from?
I graduated from Notre Dame, and our commencement speaker was the Prime Minister of Ireland at the time, and other than that, I do not remember a darn thing, other than it was super, super boring.
So far, I'm in the lead with Harold Gould.
He was a big brogue. He talked about potatoes. I mean, it was just...
Did he sing?
He had a shillelagh.
No, that would have been awesome.
Oh, it was awesome. He shared Lucky Charms.
The Florida State note.
Miami University.
Miami University in Oxford, Ohio.
There's
the
no
cradle
Florida
of coaches.
I knew it was not Florida, but I knew it had a name from Florida. Miami University of Ohio.
Yes. So for 6 years, starting in 1994 to 2000, Miami University decided not to do any commencement speakers and only go with student speakers. They thought it was more like, oh, this is really important. I think they just became cheap bastards. So, so the year I graduated, I was so psyched. I was like, because a good friend of mine just had Saul Bellow speak at his, and I was like, oh, do we all get Saul Bellow? And he was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure everyone gets Saul Bellow. And I walk in, no one told me anything, and it was like, and you're graduating, we picked some random student, and you're valedictorian. And I was like, I woke up for this? Are you kidding me? I
went to college for this?
Oh my gosh, 5 years of school?
7 years of college down the drain.
That 5th year added character.
DJ, what about you?
I actually remember my commencement address. George Will was our speaker.
Really?
Yes, he was. And he railed against postmodernism and the attack on facts, as he put it. I thought it was a fantastic address. I was one of three students in the graduating class to stand up and applaud. Everybody else either kind of applauded politely or just kind of looked the other way. But it was myself and 2 other students who I'll never remember because they were practically on the opposite side of the room. It was a fantastic address.
Did he lock eyes with you and invite you onto his tour bus afterwards?
No, he did not.
Because of that?
He did not have a tour bus.
What school was it, DJ?
College of William and Mary, class of 1994.
Oh, okay.
Well, I got to say, DJ, your George Will beats my Harold Gould. And all I can say is, damn you, DJ, damn you. Once again, you've won up to me.
Oh, and
okay.
Close this up. I don't know if Trump found a state school yet, but I just looked it up. He is speaking at the Coast Guard Academy.
Oh, good.
Oh, good for him. Coast Guard there.
Bless him.
Didn't he want to cut the Coast Guard budget a lot?
What's that?
Build a wall and cut the Coast Guard budget?
Did. He did, yes.
Yeah.
But
so maybe they'll all turn
Navy.
their backs on him. He'll get the DeVos treatment.
And with that, listen, this has been a fun discussion, but we have to bring it to a close. So please follow us on Twitter at MPU Podcast and on Facebook at facebook.com/More Perfect Union Podcast, and share our link on your Facebook timeline so your friends can discover us as well. And if you like talking politics and would like to join us between podcasts, you can find us in our Facebook political discussion group, Open Fire. We're all there. We'd love to see you there, too. Until next week.
I was going to let everyone know that the 5 of us as a group are available for any college or high school commencement that wants us to speak.
We call it real wisdom without the hate.